little worms. That's what you're eating when you eat vermicelli. At least that's what the name means. And when you eat pasta, as the Canadians say, or pasta, as the Americans do, you're swallowing all sorts of strange things. At least nominally. You've all eaten spaghetti or fusilli or lasagna or penne or farfalla probably 1,000 times. There are over 300 shapes of pasta, each with its own saucy job to do. It's like a different tool for a different job.
I need tools. Where am I going to get them?
Plus, every region of Italy jealously guarded its own favorite kind. But have you ever stopped to ask, what do these names actually mean? They aren't just random sounds. If you're Italian, the meanings are probably obvious. But for native English speakers, I bet most of these names are mysteries hiding in plain sight. So let's get wise to the words. Just don't skip past any of them. Spaghetti, the most famous pasta of all. Its name, just the plural of spaghetto, a little string. Born in southern Italy, especially Naples and Sicily, you've basically been eating bundles of yarn. Penne, those little sharpened tubes named after the quill pen. This pasta is cut on a diagonal, just like the ends of those old-fashioned pens. They were invented in Liguria, where a Genoese pasta maker patented a machine that sliced them perfectly in 1865. Pasta where you could almost write a letter with. Farfalla, the bow tie pasta. But Italians don't call them bow ties. They call them farfalla. Butterflies, first fluttering out of northern Italy as early as the 1500s. Next time you eat them, just imagine you're rustling up some grub.
This looks like a good spot to rustle up some grub.
Ew, what's that?
A grub. What's it look like?
Ew.
Vermicelli comes from the Latin vermis, meaning worm. So vermicelli literally means little worms, a Neapolitan specialty mentioned in 14th century cookbooks from southern Italy. Imagine eating worms. Linguini, long flat noodles. It's from the Italian lingua, meaning tongue. Well, linguini is literally little tongues. Gnocchi. Their name likely comes from nocchio, meaning a knot of wood, or gnocca, which means knuckle. Either way, you're eating knots or knuckles. I guess if you put them between two slices of bread, you're eating a knuckle sandwich. I love those.
Someone order a knuckle sandwich?
Tagliatella, from the Italian verb tagliare, to cut, which is rooted in the Latin taglia, a cutting, or a twig. It's a very practical name for a kind of pasta that you slice from sheets of dough, which actually might date back to ancient Roman times. A proud child of Emilia-Romagna, especially Bologna, where there's even an official golden ribbon kept in a glass case that defines the perfect width for one of these ribbons. The official width is set to 8 millimeters when cooked, which corresponds to the 12,270th part of the Asinali Tower's height. Hold on, time out. If you've ever eaten pasta in your entire life, even just once, then you don't have a choice. You have to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. But jokes aside, please consider doing so to help this channel grow so we can become wise to the words together. Orzo, tiny rice-shaped pasta. Actually, orzo is Italian for barley. It's used across Italy, but especially broths and soups in the north. Usedly, orzo doesn't contain barley at all. Orecchiette, from orecchio, ear. Orecchiette means little ears. Southern Italians have been serving ears for centuries, and no one bats an eye. Fusilli, spiral pasta. Its name comes from the Italian fuso, meaning a spindle, traditionally wound by hand around a rod. You remember fusilli, Jerry?
I do. There you go, buddy. What is it? It's fusilli, Jerry. It's made from fusilli pasta.
Lasagna, one of my personal favorites. The word traces back to the Greek lasanon, a cooking pot. So originally it was the dish, then the sheets of pasta took the name, lasanon. And this is a weird one. Brazza preti literally means priest stranglers. Legend says anti-clerical cooks made pasta so thick that priests who were greedy eaters would choke on it, mostly found in central Italy. Tortellini, from torta meaning little cake. These stuffed pasta rings hail from Emilia-Romagna, and they have this weird legend that their shape was inspired by catching a glimpse of the belly button of Venus. Weird again. Pappardella, from the Tuscan verb papare, to gobble up. Gobble gobble. Cavatelli, from cavare, to hollow out or to carve. These little rolled shells are then pressed with a thumb. Fettuccine, from fettuccia, which means little ribbons or little bands. A Roman and Tuscan classic, especially famous for fettuccine alfredo. Bucatini, from buco, a hole. Bucatini are basically spaghetti with a hole running right through the middle. Conchiglia, from conchiglia, which means seashells. They're just little shells that scoop up the sauce. Rotella literally means what they look like, little wheels. Cartwheels, great for kids' soups and dishes. They're not really strong in any part of Italy. They're more of a modern invention. Ditalini, from ditelle, which means thimble, with the diminutive ini, means little thimbles. These short, stubby tubes are perfect for soups. Capellini literally means little hairs. This is that ultra-thin angel hair pasta from central and northern Italy. Ziti, from zito, meaning bride or groom. This pasta is traditionally served at weddings in Campania and Sicily. They begin as long tubes, then they're broken up before cooking. Figoli, from a Venetian dialect pigat, caterpillar, thick worm-like pasta. Basically, giant worms on a plate. We got the vermicelli, the little worms, or the biguli, the big worms. Mafaldina, or Reginetta, named after Princess Mafalda of Savoy in the 20th century. Reginetta means little queens. Trophia, likely from the Greek tropha, meaning to twist. Anellini, from anello, little ring. Tiny rings used in Sicily mainly for soups, basically jewelry in broth. Stellina, from stella, star, little star-shaped pasta which is very popular in children's soups. Macaroni, a very old name that's almost become synonymous with pasta in general, probably from the Greek makaria, a barley broth offered for the dead, so the word macaroni has funeral roots. Macari, from Neapolitan pacca, meaning a slap or a smack. Smack the sauce on your tongue, I guess. Kinda weird. Cencioni, which means little rags. Irregular oval pasta from Campania, made to look like pieces of cloth. Weird again. Gili or Capanella, from Giglio, which means lily, or Capanella, which means little bell. So either a Tuscan flower or a bell-shaped pasta. Kinda pretty. Fileia, Calabrian twisted pasta. Uziata, a coiled pasta twisted around a busso or a reed. It kind of looks like the old telephone cords. Tonarelli, from tonaro, meaning a large cord, or kind of a thick square spaghetti, a Roman special. Basically means fat ropes. Orzetti, not to be confused with orvetti. They're round, coin-like pasta discs, traditionally stamped with coats of arms or crosses. The name comes from crossetto, which means little crosses. Garganelli, they're rolled tubes with ridges, from garganel, which is a dialect for a chicken's gullet. Yum, chicken throat pasta. Sign me up. Malarettas, the pride of Sardinia. The name means little bulls in Sardinian dialect. They look like ridged gnocchi, often called gnocchetti sardi. Fregola, also from Sardinia, comes from fregare, to rub. Little beads of toasted pasta made by rubbing dough into little pellets. Straccinati, from straccinare, to drag. These are southern pasta shapes, dragged by hand across a board. The name literally means dragged ones. Panzotti, Ligurian stuffed pasta, from panza, which means belly, so they're kind of big-bellied dumplings. Testaroli, they're large crepe-like pasta cooked on stone. The name comes from testo, the traditional cast-iron pan. Mezza manica, short tubes of pasta named after shirt sleeves. You know these guys. Put some sleeves on. Tufoli, from tufare, to dip or to plunge. Tubes designed to plunge into the sauce. Holy moly, that's a lot of pasta names. And now you're wise to the words. YouTube thinks you'll like one of these videos. I agree.